executive for Esri Forestry and wood products. And today I want to highlight a few web applications that I have for our industry. They come out of working with customers and from things that I've heard from customers. So what I have here is a ArcGIS Online organizational site, and I have a bunch of applications, web applications related to forestry and wood products. Right now, most of these apps I'm going to show are around wood products where our customers buy wood, fiber, or logs on the open market to make some kind of product like tissue, wood, or pellets or anything like that. So just to jump in here, I'm logged in and I have an identity and I'm seeing content that's appropriate for me. And if somebody else logged in, they might see something totally different. All these apps are really fit for purpose and they deliver content in a very focused, easy to use way for me as a user. So what I'm going to show is a couple that I have around fiber supply, wood supply, planning, analysis, and operational visibility. So this one right here is an app that I configured, made it pretty quickly once I had the data. We've got some optimization scenarios we run for a couple of facilities to optimize freight across those different facilities. And we look at our actual performance versus our optimized performance. So right here is actual in the orange. And these spider diagrams, as we call them, are really for visualization. Behind them, we're using actual miles, network miles. But for visualization purposes, we make them straight and we're able to really quickly see where wood's coming from and how much. So each one of these lines is proportional to the amount of tons delivered in this week we're looking at. So we run an optimization in this area and we have some minor differences. If we had run a fully optimized scenario and delivered to these two facilities or delivered the tracks to the closest facility, just given that they're the same product, let's say pine pulpwood, that we would have had a delivery pattern that looked like this. We have a couple tracks that really were closer to either this mill or to this mill. So real simple to set up. The data necessary is your wood sources, and then maybe running some kind of modeling scenario. And then getting the data into this app where you can operationalize it and give it to folks where they can use it out on the ground. I'm going to step back and show you another way that same data is used. So let's say we want to see the specific differences between actual and optimal. Okay, that's just a legend. This is the same exact web map, same data, and we're looking at the difference. If we had hit optimized deliveries with the tracks closest to each mill, then we would have had this cost for freight. Under actual scenario, we had this cost. We get a few $1,000s difference. And then also we can look at our mileage. So this is a dashboard where we actually can digest and interpret data to say, well, are we on target? How are we performing against our key performance measures? So one web map, we can make several web applications. We can make applications that are suitable for a variety of audiences. So that's two applications. I'm going to step through here and show you a couple more. So what I have here is a cross-basin procurement dashboard. And what we look at here is where a company might own a couple of mills that procure in the same areas. These mills need to see what each other are doing. The procurement managers need to see all the different factors in their supply. So we've got a couple of things in here like tracked alerts. Tracked alerts, we see we have 13 tracks that are sourcing from within basin overlaps. And that's that orange area in here between our two facilities. And so what you see here with the arrows are all the sources of wood going into these two mills, mill 1, mill 2, and all the sources, and they're kind of directional. Uh, they have directional symbology. The size is proportional to the delivered price. You can kind of immediately see here we've got some pretty big um, circles here, symbols, and this overlap area, almost as though these two mills might be competing with each other, even though they're owned by the same company. So I've seen from talking to the industry, working with the industry, there's a lot of interest in optimizing freight, looking at for opportunities to source wood, not just in your own backyard, but staying out of the shadow of competitor facilities. So you can see we've got some competitor facilities in here as well. They're sized by their consumption. So further on in this dashboard, I'm showing some of the big information on these wood basins, such as the scale delivery volume. So we've just integrated a scale system. We're pulling standard database information over as trucks come across the scales, and we have 1,340 tons have come in and about 55 loads. I can also go up here and I can filter and show either mill independently. So very simple to set up. These apps, and I haven't maybe mentioned this yet, is they're all configurable. It doesn't take a programmer to set this stuff up. It's really the intention here is to deliver very focused, easy to use applications quickly with your business information and not have to do a lot of work to do so. So that's some high level stuff on these two basins. I'm going to click through and show you that we're also looking at our wood costs, delivered wood costs, our stumpage costs, and our average haul distances for these facilities. And these widgets are aware as data comes in, we're tracking if we're on target. So if we're below $24 in delivered wood costs, then we're green. Let's check the other mills and see if all our targets are on. So you can see here on mill 1 by itself, we're above target, and this widget is showing us orange. So it's a really quick way to see all your key business indicators for wood supply. And then lastly, I've got a couple more pieces of information about the mills, such as their on-site inventory, rail cars that are delivering out of these mills. It's sort of a supply chain view, if you will. We've got our track pipeline, and we're showing the mill, the active tracks that are delivering right now, and also other tracks that are inactive, and also maybe tracks we're working with suppliers or our own foresters to source into the mills. So you can see that these widgets are also tied to the map. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and update. Let's say that I want to use my iPhone and I want to update the hardwood chips on site for mill 1. And let's say we hadn't got a lot of deliveries over the weekend and we want to pull that down from 7,000 and update it. So this is I just used my iPhone to make an update. I'll refresh the map. You see went to 5,000. The iPhone application is called Collector. It's an out-of-the-box application. It'll look, read, and edit the same web map that drives this application. Another configurable application. All this stuff's available to any named user that has access to your portal or ArcGIS online site. So moving on, I got one more application to show, kind of around analytics and looking for opportunity areas for wood supply. So here's another application. Let's just turn off some layers here real quick. Switch some things around. This is a really easy to use application. Use this on a tablet, use it on a browser, spin this up really quickly around your data. And for those same two mills, what we did is we looked at wood sourcing history and where we sourced wood the most. And we saw pretty quickly that in between the two mills, we're drawing a lot of fiber from that area. So this is a heat map. And maybe we can learn something from that. We can learn where we also have cold areas and we don't seem to source very much. We might be particularly interested in cold areas that are close where our freight would be very advantageous or low. So let's turn off this source heat map and look at also where we've analyzed the resource availability. In other words, forested areas. Where's my legend? Let's turn on the legend here and show you that we were able to do some land use analysis using some openly available data, or maybe you have your own on fiber availability, and then converging that with heat maps to say, well, and freight, and where do we have a history or little history of sourcing low freight, and there is resource available, and how can we target these areas? So this map could be used on an iPhone, it can be used on a tablet. You could also put some interactivity in here to go out and to field check and to have a process in place to examine if there's opportunities or there are barriers to some of the fiber that you think might be out there and might help you lower your wood costs into your mill. So that's a quick tour of 4 applications that I have here that are really around the fiber supply part of the wood products supply chain. So thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll show you a slide on how to contact me for more information.